Hello. As you come on, go ahead and hit like and share. I'm sharing. Hello to my YouTubers and Facebook. God bless you. I pray that you all are doing well on today. Can you hear well? Let me know if you can hear me good. As you go, come on, go ahead and hit share. Like and share, please. I'm inviting some more people on. I pray you all are doing great on today. God bless you all as you come on. I'm still sharing. Can you hear it clear? If you can, type yes, please. Okay, thank you. God bless you all. Hello, Lisa Coleman. God bless you. Hello, Miss Joyce. Hello, Sherry Little. God bless you all. Everything that is not like God. Yeah. That you will be destroyed. Every demon that tries to be God, I prophesy. Yes. That you will be destroyed. Every God bless you too. I prophesy that you will be destroyed. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. Hallelujah. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. Hallelujah. You will be destroyed. Hallelujah. Release something to the atmosphere. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. Hallelujah. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. Jezebel, you will be destroyed. I break every arrow. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in today. I am Prophetess Taylor from the Lion of the Tribe of Judah Global Tent Ministries. If you see me looking over here for a minute, I'm on YouTube as well as Facebook. Yes, so I pray that you all are doing magnificently well. I am just thankful that God used me as a vessel. I'm always thankful and honored, and most of all, humbled, because God is so amazing. You know, I always tell people, I can tell you all day long that you are blessed, that you are healed, you are set free, you are made whole. But I always have to also share with you about the crushing part of my life and the crushing part that you've had in your life, because a lot of us went through some crushing. A lot of us went through a lot of backsets and a lot of sickness, a lot of disease. We've lost so many people, and we also still have a lot of people around us. So when people begin to tell you about the blessings, I don't feel that it's right if they don't share about the crushing part of their life. And I love my bishop when he said, and I have to go back to this. Yesterday, God gave me a word from the book talking about the pool of Bethesda, the man that was there for so many years that was wrestling with the same thing. And so when I got up this morning and was listening to Bishop, he was talking somewhat about the same thing. And I said, every time God gives me a word, welcome Queen Shay, every time God gives me a word, he always used my bishop to come back, and it's like you can tell when you're on the right track and when you're saying the right things and you're doing the right things. And then when God is telling, because he mentioned about letting things go and releasing people and getting 100% and doing and giving 100%. And so I was like, oh my God, because sometimes even though we'll say, oh yeah, I'm good. And I am good now. I'm better. I tell people this, I'm better than I've ever been in my life. I'm just being honest. I'm at an amazing part in my life, and I'm thankful. And a lot of times when you're touching bases on certain things, a lot of times people are like, well, she must be still. No, it's not a bitter bone in my body. I am so thankful. I'm so grateful for everything, and for every delay, for every setback, for every hindrance, for all the pain, for all the misery, for everything that I went through. Man, I thank God that for that crushing, because it's no way. And I look at my bishop and the first lady, and they such awesome examples. See, a lot of people, and I laugh because it was so many leaders that used to talk so bad about my bishop. They used to talk bad about Bishop. They say Bishop got an ATM at the front door as you come in, and now you got leaders posting all their business on there. Give me Zelly, give me go, if you got to mail it to me, or send it here, send it there, or Zelle or whatever they call it, whatever they doing, or what's the other one, that PayPal. Yeah, they got all this stuff, these avenues now where they're sending money in other than just taking the cash. So I say you have to be careful, because first of all, you didn't know, and he don't need nobody to defend him. But I'm just saying how funny life goes and how things go when people talk about certain things in your life and say what you are and what you're not. And see, he never paid any attention to that, because he had people like us, people that was around him, that was help fighting and praying in the spirit realm, that was tearing down every stronghold and casting down every vain imagination that was coming up against him. And so when you are like that, and when God favors you after all the crushing and all the agony, all the pain, all the sickness, all the delays, all the setbacks, when God started favoring you, people would look at you like, who does she think she is? She ain't all that. I've had somebody to tell me, and it was a family member, to say, you think you gonna get rich off of that? That was my first book. You think you gonna get rich off of that book? You ain't gonna get rich. I ain't trying to get rich. I'm trying to get some people healed and delivered from the things that I came from. But in the process, oh yeah, oh, it's coming. Oh yes, payback is coming. So I'm not worried about the rich part, because God said he make rich and adds no sorrow. So guess what? Whatever that God said concerning me, can't nobody speak. Every curse that was spoken from childhood on up, baby, that's gone with the people that said it. You have to speak that yourself. Every curse that was spoken over me, baby, it left with them. When they walked out, that curse walked right along with them. Because every word that they spoke over me, guess what? It's happening in their life. And so you can't pay attention to what people saying or thinking, because jealousy is as cruel as the grave. The minute that you start speaking lies, you have a lot of people coming up with you, and they, yeah, girl, yeah, boy, you right. But the minute you start speaking truth, look for people to drop off like a wet garment, just fall off, just go by. So I'm at a point in my life, like my bishop, when I was looking and I was paying attention to how everybody was coming up against him, and they didn't know all the struggles that he went through. He told it to us because we was there. I was there when he first came to Dallas. And so I would hear, he would sit up and tell us all his testimonies, things he'd been through, what his family went through. how he struggled, how he couldn't pay the light bill and water bill and gas bill all at the same time. Even when he preached to a few people and he preached with water coming through the ceiling, how he was catching it with buckets. See, nobody knew that. So now when they look at you and you growing, see, people not with you through the process. And when they're not with you through the process, they don't know all the toils, all the headaches, all the pain, all the suffering. They don't know what you went through to get it. And it's not your problem nor your concern. And that's why every time they talked about him, his ministry was steady growing and theirs was just dying out, drying out. Because I always tell people, never let nobody come up in your pulpit that God blessed you with to talk about another leader. Never let, they stand up and, they would call his name out in the pulpit. They would say his name out and I'd be like, oh my God, you bringing a curse on your own ministry. You never ever talk about you never talk about a man of God. Now, if you see a spirit in certain things, then you say what you want to say. But at the same time, they was coming up against him. Oh yeah, he getting everybody's money and he doing everybody. I'm telling you, I've never, ever, ever not been blessed being up under Bishop. I'm telling you. And people will talk to you. They will talk you out of something. And if you're not careful, you'll be foolish enough to listen. That how, oh yeah, they worshiping him like he a God. No, but he is a man of God. And you're supposed to honor your leader. That's jealousy talk when people say stuff like that because they don't have anybody following them. Okay, but this man has impacted. I prayed for Bishop to come here years ago. I prayed that God would send somebody that would minister to hurting women and men. I prayed for that. And when he said, some of y'all prayed for me, I was one of those. I prayed that God would send somebody that was stern and was Holy Ghost filled and didn't mind telling their testimony. Because see, a lot of people will tell you holiness or hell, but they'll never tell you how they got to the holiness part. So that what was messing me up because before then, I was just hearing, don't wear that, take that off, put that on, you wear red lipstick, you're a Jezebel. The devil, what? Who does that? They was even preaching that on the radio. It was, I ain't gonna even call her name. Because they got people all in bondage. Tell them, if you wear lipstick, y'all Jezebel, y'all going to hell for wearing lipstick. You gonna go to hell for wearing lipstick? Really? You gonna go to hell for wearing pants? Really? And it's a whole lot of other things people are dying from, and you talking about hell over some lipstick? Really? You got witches running rapid in your church, and you don't even know a witch from a worshiper. Really? So my thing is this. That's why it's very imperative that we as leaders, I'm talking about real leaders, those that are standing for God. I'm not talking about those that are just doing things for money. That's their business and their problem. God told me something this morning and it blessed me. He said, now that you said what I told you to say on yesterday about what I was going to do, I'm not going to bring it up today. He said, but what I told you yesterday when you was talking about the man at the pool of Bethesda and how some people are still at the pool waiting to be put in and the water is already troubling and they still waiting on somebody to put them in. He said, but the prophecy that I gave you about the church, he said, don't even bring that up no more because the word was already given. You don't never have to come back and give my word again. Once you've gave the warning, you don't have to come back and give it again. Not unless I tell you to do so. But today I want you on something different. Okay? But we're still going to talk a little bit about the man at the pool of Bethesda. Okay? Because some of you is basing your healing and your deliverance on somebody else. When you're going to find out in a minute that a lot of deliverance can come from you out of your own mouth, but you speaking truth about you. Okay, but the thing that got me was I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I said, God, you are amazing, because this is not the first, second, third, or fourth time that I've given a word and Bishop come right back and say the same thing. If just a little bit different, but the same thing. And that lets me know that I'm tied to the right person. Because let me tell you something. People can talk about him all day long. Because if you're taking up any type of cash in your church, okay? So they can talk about him all day long. Yeah, he got an ATM. They used to, and man, back then, back in the early 90s, I used to be defensive like, don't be talking about my bishop. I'll be up in the beauty shop, be just going hard. Like, you talking about, so what? I mean, he's anointed to do what he do. And yes, he needs to be honored, okay? God told me you ain't got to defend him. I'm defending him. His angels that I assigned to him is offended him. Baby, I used to go all in. I'm like, And my spiritual daddy too, when my spiritual dad was living, and they would say certain things about him, I'd be like, you mad because he done clocked you in the spirit. You mad because he got that eagle eye. You mad because he can see in the spirit. That's what's making you mad. And he keep telling me that you're not good for me. And you come to find out you really wasn't. So sometimes we get them warnings and we don't like to hear it. So Bishop was on it from time he came to Dallas. You know, first thing he did, he started reaching out to the hurting women. That was the main thing, because I was one of those. When he started out with Woman Thou Art Loose, I was one of those that was hurting, that was going through some things. And baby, it's gonna be a lot of people log up today, you hear me? Because they want to hear about Bishop. And you got some they log up because they doing other things, okay? But let me tell you this. He'd been on it since day one. And even so now, when he talk about coming on the ark, get on the ark. That's the times that we're in. Come on the ark. What are you waiting for? I've been preaching that for a long time. I've been sounding that alarm for a very long time. I have been having dreams, and I've been sharing it with the tribe. I shared it with WWAP. I was sharing it with other ministers. Some people like, that girl is crazy. She always talking about her dreams and da 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 da. We don't want to hear about that. Oh, she's weird. She is. You keep on thinking that. And while you're talking, I'm building the ark. I'm getting prepared. And whosoever will, let him come. Because I dream so many times. I got a dream book that I've been having since in the 80s. And I've been writing in that dream book. And those that know me and know about the dream that I told them about, it was 3 dreams that I had. And if you go back to some of my lives, I was talking about how the world was ending and how it was fire. And how everybody was still doing their thing. They were still partying. They were still doing their thing. And I kept trying to tell them, come on, get in here. Come on in here. It's safety in here. Babe, when I tell you, when God told me to go in, I didn't have to touch the door. You better hear me. I did not have to touch the door. Soon as that door shut, you could hear it like it was being sealed. And the people that I told to come in started knocking on the door and asking me, Rhonda, let me in. I said, I can't. It's too late. And so you got to warn those people that you say you love and let them know. I don't care about what other leaders are talking about. That's not my business. I'm saying what God is telling me to tell you. Okay? I can care less. Yes, great things are going to happen for you. That's a given. That's a given. What did John say? Heaven right here on earth, baby. God is going to do it right. He's going to do it for you sooner than later. But he still wanted to warn you, to let you know these things that are happening are not strange. I spoke of these things. You know, you got some people, they do what they do. It's just like when I was talking about yesterday. And I know, you know, I'm a person that I know I offend a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. Because if God tell me to say something, I'm going to say it, and I don't care who don't like it. I let the chips fall wherever. You got some people, they are professionals. They do what they do. It's the difference between when you're having a church function, and if it's for the sick, if it's for people that are needing to be healed, me personally, I don't think they need to be charged at the door to come in. That's me. Okay, each to his own. But if you're having something where you're equipping leaders and you're having those type of conferences where you equipping other leaders, you're sharpening their iron, of course, you have them set up a payment and come on in. If you're coaching, you do that, whatever. If you know that it's a church function where people are getting healed, like revivals, they should not, it's no way. You know, and I'm okay with you not liking what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. But it's no way. What if you have about 1,000 women that need healing and deliverance, and you got 100 over here that can pay you? But this 1,000, they don't have the money, but they want to be healed. They just want to be free because they've been battling with all types of spirits and sickness and disease, and they just need a word. Will you tell those 100 women to sow into those 1,000 of women to get them in? Because maybe they don't have what you're asking for. Maybe they don't have it. Now, if you're a business, again, I'm a business person. I'm a coach. Okay? That's my trade. I'm a coach. I'm a professional life coach. I get paid for that. Okay? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I went 2 straight years and I didn't charge anybody because of the pandemic. I refused to charge anybody because I knew everybody was going through hard times. And I know everybody is not like me. I'm okay with that. Okay, but when you're charging people to come inside of a sanctuary to hear the word of God, to get their freedom, you honestly think that God is pleased with that? Now, if you're having a conference where you are training leaders, okay, because I want you to really understand where I'm going with this, okay, I'm not backing down what I said at all, okay. If you are training and equipping other leaders, or you're training and equipping people in business, or you are a coach, or you can be doing whatever in your ministry, but you're having a seminar, you're having a workshop, yes, you charge people for that. But if you're having a revival, or you have, even if you're saying it's a conference, but it's going to be healing and deliverance, but only people that are coming are the same ones you're used to seeing all the time. God said, the well don't need a physician, but the sick do. So why not accommodate the sick? Accommodate the sick, or make it to where the sick maybe can pay. If that's what you're doing, let's $5 or $10. Well, we can't do that because if you're getting food, if you're buying food for everybody, then maybe if God gave you the vision or the idea, He will equip you to be able to take care and feed the people that you're bringing. The tribe of Judah, that's all we used to do. Every time after ministry or during ministry, man, we would have big meals. But I started seeing that a lot of people were coming just to eat. Okay, a lot of us coming to eat. So I started kind of chopping it down. We'll do a little snack, especially if we're going to be in service a long time. Okay, I started accommodating people with little snacks and drinks and stuff like that. I still do it to this day. Okay, but what I'm saying is it's a difference between a teaching seminar or something that you are doing to equip leaders, like you got leadership conferences. You're supposed to charge for that, stuff like that. But when you're saying I'm having something and man, it's going to be healing, deliverance, and so who are the people? Because if the people that you're bringing in, if they already anointed, don't get me wrong, we all need, I talked about this yesterday, we all need to every now and then go to that pool and get in. If we don't do them, put our legs in. The pool of Bethesda, when those angels was troubling that water, it wasn't just for the man, it was for everybody. Because if you notice, the lame was jumping there, the paralyzed, the blind, everybody was jumping in there when that water was troubled. It wasn't for a specific person, but because that man was laying there all that time, Jesus took interest in it and said, do you want to be healed? Because you got some people, they just still want to talk about that little bitty scar that you probably can't even see anymore. Like, do you see that? You probably can see it. Can you see that little? That's bothering me. That's hurting me. And you still, you know how kids do. If you're a granny like me, my grandkids, man, they the most. If I go visit their house, and my spiritual daughter on here, she'll tell you, if I visit their house, my grandkids, they gonna find something on them and say, look. I'll be like, oh, what happened to you? Who did that? And they get excited, like, oh, so-and-so did it. Kids get excited because they love it when you acknowledge that they have a sore on them. And you got some grown people, they love for you to always notice that sore. Do you see this? Yes, I see it. But if you don't, if you're not entangled, or if you're not in ministry, and if you're not getting fed, you will not get healed. Because what you do, you get just enough Bible in you to be dangerous to yourself and other people. Because what you do, you go beat up somebody else because you may be mad somebody ain't doing what you want to do. So you're going to beat them up with the word when the word is for you. The word is for you first. So you beat up somebody else. They're not doing what you retching your neck. They're not doing what you want to do. So you start throwing scripture. You'll throw up at what the pastor said. You'll start talking about what your leader said. You'll start saying, I remember so and so, because you throwing slugs, or but God ain't talking, He's talking to you. He wants you to get in the pool. He wants you to get it right. Okay? But we're talking about we're talking about healing. We're talking about the things that God wanted. He wants us to be healed here first. Because a lot of people, they say, I'm healed, I'm delivered. It was a time I told you when I used to preach, and my spiritual dad had to chastise me because even though I got all my training from Bishop and I knew how to do this and I knew how to do that, but one thing one thing when I became having knowledge of who I was, and my spiritual dad told me who I was, and things like that, and they's telling me you this and you that and this that and the other. So I knew I could see, but I just didn't know to what degree. What was that I'm seeing people and can hear things and see it in the spirit, and sometimes not even around them, and can tune in on certain things. God, what is that? And so he had to train me and tell me this is what this was. So when I got up, and when this one of the women came in and started preaching against me because I told her about my testimony, so she got up there and preached my testimony. Rhonda wasn't free; she wasn't delivered. Rhonda got up after she got up and went platinum in the pulpit. But I could tell you one thing: I knew I was gonna get chastised because my spiritual daddy did not play. He did not play those type of games. That's why when I was preaching, I was looking at the clock because I didn't want to look at his face. I already knew, girl, you in trouble. You mad because, girl, you in trouble. You know you in trouble. He said, I'm about to sit you down for a while. I'm about to sit you down. I had to sit down. I had to sit it down. I had to sit my hips down because I was all out of order. That's not how I was trained. So when he set me down, he began to talk to me and tell me some things. He said, you're still hurt. Your stuff is still bothering you about what you went through. So anytime, he said, she was wrong. Yes, she was wrong because you confided in her. You told her the things that you've been through, and she preached about it. And then she had nerve to somewhat almost point at me. And I'm like, what? Girl, you pointing at me too? You pointing like... And he knew I was itching even in the seat, like, what is she talking about? I know she's talking about me because I told her this. So he had to chastise me and sit me down. And it's okay to be set down. It's okay for God to sit you down so you can mature and grow in the Spirit of God. Because we think because we got it together. I've been in this thing a long time. Some of us, we say, man, I've been preaching for 30 years, and you still got 30 years of demons. You still, them demons haven't been dealt with. Because you still walking around, you gossiping, you messy, you keeping up confusion. You still doing that. You still got a lot of things that need to be brought forth. And the only person can bring that forth is you. Somebody can call you out and tell you all day long what you need, but until you recognize what you need, just like you need to eat when you're hungry, just like you need to drink water when you're thirsty. The same way the Holy Ghost, you need the Holy Ghost in your life. So that way conviction will come to you, not to nobody else, not to your sister, your brother. I told my brother and sister, I told my husband off, I told my wife off. No, it's for you, baby. It's for you. Because when they're nowhere around, God said, I'm talking to you. I want you to get in that pool, and I need you to get your deliverance. This man laid there like he was tanning, I guess. I don't know what he was doing. You sitting there watching everybody getting in the pool. And that wasn't even going to be my subject today, but I just kind of piggyback on what I talked on yesterday. You just laying there waiting. You got all these excuses on why you can't do it. The least little thing come up, that's your excuse not to even go to attend church. And I tell people all the time, if you got a leader, if you have a leader and you're not supporting your leader, that's not your leader. I don't care what you say. If you have a pastor, it's no way I'm saying bishop is my bishop, but I'm not going to support my bishop. I'm not going to support in no shape, form, whether it's being there or whether it's finances or whatever. It's no way you can tell somebody that's my pastor or that's my bishop, that's my prophet, that's my son. No. It's no way. And you're not covering them. You're so busy covering you and what you want. It's all about you and yours. You're not covering them. Like I remember Bishop Martin said years ago, he said, why am I getting hit so hard? If I got all these intercessors, it's just like being on a football team. If you got the right team, they supposed to keep the other folks. I don't know a whole lot about football. I know a lot about boxing. Okay. But they're supposed to be watchful to where you're not getting hit. And then how dare you get mad when your pastor get hit when you weren't in your proper place? You're too busy running and crying about everything else. You're not in your proper place. We're talking about healing today. Okay. In every area, you have to be healed. People talk about, oh yeah, I don't never hear her talking about blessings. Oh yes, it's times I do tell people, oh, you're going to be blessed. God is going to anoint you to do what you do. It's a lot of times I speak on that, but it's a lot of times people need to know that before all that comes, or even when it comes, some crushing gonna come too. You're gonna go through some stuff. It's not just gonna happen. It's no perfect relationship. It's no perfect marriage. It's no perfect leader. Nobody is perfect. Not one. But we're supposed to be mature enough to be corrected in love. We're supposed to be mature enough to say, instead of when somebody tell you you're wrong or you're in error. Good afternoon, son. When somebody tell you that you're in error, you get offended because you're, who are you? I'm a leader and I'm Dr. So-and-so. You don't take, you out of order for even talking to me. Girl, you're not, boy, you're not the president. And even the president could be told some things. So who are you? I always tell people, if I'm out of order, tell me. That didn't sound, I got some people that don't mind telling me that, I don't know about this, but can you answer this for me? You know what that do for me? It causes me to go back and sharpen my tools some more, to get some more learning, some more education when it comes to the things of God. But don't ever get to the point where you can't be corrected. Well, can't nobody tell you that you're in error. Well, can't nobody tell you that you missed it. Everybody misses it. Even my bishop tell you sometimes. He'd be like, you know what? I'm human just like you. If you're looking for me to make a mistake, you probably will. You probably find one. But if I'm going to talk about it, let me tell you how to fix that. So I always tell people, when we're talking about healing and when we're talking about deliverance, when we're talking about getting set free, we got to know, even though you may be healed, you may be walking in your deliverance, but there is a time to where you're going to be crushed. And you need to tell people about your crushing moments. You need to tell people, hey, I wasn't always, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I'm talking to this business owner, and that's all that they talk about. They was talking about some things like, it was a time they were spending money that they didn't have, but they was trying to look like everybody else. So they would go buy some name brand stuff, knowing that they didn't have the name brand money, but they was trying to keep up with everybody. And you got people that do that. They'll throw something real big, knowing they ain't got the money to do it. And then when they struggling, you got the husband and the wife getting mad at each other because they knew they couldn't afford to do that. But they doing it to make themselves look good in front of everybody else. But then on the downside of that, you can't really pay all your bills. So when they was talking about that, conviction came to me because I know how I used to waste money. I used to waste my money by just giving it to anybody to say, can you help me? Can you do this? I'm telling you, it was a time, and it's God. God did it. I'm going to tell you something. He blessed me last year and the year before last to be a blessing to 5 leaders, to purchase them a tent. Okay? I will not call their names, but he blessed me to be a blessing to them. And the reason being because they was doing outreach. And they was doing it outside, and it was hot or it was cold and it was raining or whatever. And he wanted them to be taken care of. And he knew that I had the hookup on how to get it and make sure they had it. Okay? When some people got a whiff of that, when they heard, Pastor Taylor is blessing people with tents. Pastor Taylor is, paying folks, bills, and Pastor Taylor's doing this. Folks was flooding my inbox. The Lord told me to tell you, boop, 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 boop. Let me tell you, don't come to me. Don't get in my inbox with that. The Lord told me to tell you that, it would be a blessing if you be a blessing to me to give me a tent. The Lord didn't tell me that. I don't even know your name, sir, ma'am. I don't even know you. And even if I did, even if I didn't know you and God laid you in my spirit to say, be a blessing to them, I'm going to be a blessing. But they was all in my inbox. The Lord said, like the Lord ain't talking to me. That's why he told me to do it. Okay? That's not my business, not my concern. But let me tell you this. Stop telling people that can hear from God, that have a keen discernment. I might not ever tell you. I tell people all the time, I might not ever tell you I see you. I might just sit back and chill and be quiet and let you hang yourself and not cut you down, because Jesus didn't cut Judas down. Okay? That's how I am. So when you come in and say, the Lord said for you to give me this amount of money, the Lord said for you, God didn't tell, no. He didn't tell me that because it's not in my, like Brown say, it's not in my spirit. Okay? He told you that. He may have told you to go give somebody else. I brought that up yesterday. When you go to these ministries and they say, the Lord said for you, for all of y'all to give a certain amount of money. And what if they don't have it? Then you tell them to go borrow it from this person. God didn't tell you that. He couldn't have told you to go tell them to borrow from their neighbor to get that. If God said, it's some of you in here that, God put in your spirit already to be a blessing. I'm going to tell you, whatever he told you to do, you do what he told you to do. Okay, God works like that. He works like that in challenging people to see where your heart is, because wherever your treasure is, where your heart is, that's where your treasure is also. He might pick you just to see if you so much in your money. Let me see how much. Let me see what you're gonna do. Let me just check you out and see what you're gonna do. Oh yeah, it happens. But what I was explaining to the leaders is, let me help you. When you bring somebody to speak in your ministry, you don't rob your congregation to pay them if God told you to bring them on. Okay? Now, if they want to help you to be a blessing to that person, that's fine. But you don't try to make them feel guilty when God told you to call that person to come to minister. Okay? God gave a vision to you. If he gave it to you 3 months ago, you should have been putting back some cho-chos to be able to be a blessing to them when they come. But if you got a team and you telling your team, hey, we want to get so-and-so here, what y'all think? And they say, oh yeah, let's get her here. Then we work together. But you're not going to just say, the Lord had me to bring her here, but he wants y'all to pay for her. No, it's things that we have to put in order. Okay? It doesn't matter where you are now, but you can change. It's things that I used to do. It's the way that I used to bring certain things to people. God had to do some rearranging. Just like he told me about yesterday. He said the prophetic word. I didn't even tell y'all that today again. He said the prophetic word that you spoke yesterday, don't even bring it up again. Don't tell them nothing about no. Only thing I told you was about getting in the ark. Like Bishop says, it's time to get in the ark. See, a lot of times when you're talking about healing and deliverance is one thing that's for some reason that subject it hurts a lot of people. I had to go through a process of deliverance. Still, God is still working on Rhonda, But the testimony that I had yesterday was amazing, and I say it's amazing to me. It may not be nothing to you. But when you get to a point where you really let things and people go, people that you thought you really needed in your life, people that you thought was the bomb.com, that they, the sun just rise and set and shine and do all that because they walk in the room. When you start thinking that, first of all, you done made them out of a God. Okay? When it got to the point where I felt like I was almost, to me, like, okay, I can't let them go. I've been knowing these people for years, and man, I've been knowing them since I was like 11, 12 years old, and man, I just, I think they might not be ready now, but they may be accessed later on in the ministry. But in the process of them, they turn your ministry up. they turn it up. You know what I'm saying? They turn it up. If they're not tearing it up, they're not doing nothing. They're not, you never see them on anything. Even if they can't show up, you don't never see them on a live. They always got an excuse. Well, I was doing this, I was doing that. Or I can't make it. Then you bust up and look on YouTube or Facebook, and you will see them at another church doing something else. And they told you their back was hurting, their head was hurting, they couldn't do anything. Then they said they can't have seat. Then you look at them, they stand up in somebody else's pulpit reading the Bible. And that's God's way of telling you, now you see it with your own eyes. Now you still holding on. You still holding on. They telling you this because they still want to keep that. You ever seen somebody, even in some relationships, cake and ice cream too. You want to keep your foot in this door while you got your foot in this door, because you want to keep doors open. And you got people in ministry that's like that. They're not dedicated to their ministry. So what they do, they want to make you think they're for you. So they keep their foot over here, their left foot over here, and their right foot over here. And they want to make you think they got you, and they really don't. Because all their time and effort and energy is spent somewhere else. And it's okay. It wasn't even just about that. It was about the lying part of the need. I'm this, I'm that. Because everybody that know Rhonda know I have a heart to help people. So when people come to me and say, I'm sick. You heard what I said earlier when they was coming to me about the tents, okay? When people come on and say, I'm sick and I'm really feeling bad and I won't be able to do that, and I really want to, I really want to, but I just feel real bad. And you anybody like me know that girl have a sensitive heart toward people. I've been that way all my life. That's my mother and my daddy, okay? And I'm like, oh, do you need anything? And then the Holy Spirit quickened me this last time. He said, go on Facebook. I go on Facebook. That ain't the first time. That ain't the second time this done happened. I go on there. They on there saying, my church. They're talking about another church. My pastor. They're talking about another pastor. So I said, oh, okay. I didn't get mad. I said, thank you, Lord. You was showing me this is what they want. Okay, go ahead. But they still over here in my ear. It's just like being in a relationship. When somebody tell you, you mine. Then they go over here and tell that person, you mine. They haven't made a decision. So they got their foot over here, 1 foot over here and 1 foot over there. It's just like when people in the world, they don't want to serve God all the way. So what they do, they got 1 foot in the world and one foot in church. They can't make a decision. So sometimes you got to help them make a decision. Let me help you, because a two-headed person, two-head pastors, that's a beast, baby. We're not going to do that, because you can't have two pastors. You only get one, okay? You can choose. Go right over there, okay? No hard feelings. God bless you. If they ask me anything about you, I'm tell you, yes, he was pretty good when they was here. They did. I would never sit there, oh, yeah, baby, they did. Oh, no. Even though, but no, but I will give them truth. And I'm not going to lie, because I want them to know, because leaders, they communicate like that. I used to be that when a leader would call me and say, so-and-so may be coming your way, blah, blah, blah. I'll be like, nah, I'll find out for myself. That was the kind of leader I was. I didn't go by he say, she say, because I know sometimes people be bitter because you left and they gone on with their life, and that's in every area. They didn't, maybe you have mishandled them or you didn't do right or whatever. I don't know what happened because I didn't see it. So sometimes they gone the other direction. So I can't say that they wrong. I can't say that you're wrong. One thing I say, I have to see it for myself. I got to see it for myself. That's just like, okay, we're going to go here, okay? It's just like back in the day when I was in relationships, and I say ships because, I told y'all, player, okay? But when I was out there, they would tell me, this, man, he's something else. And when I decided that I wanted to kind of calm down and slow it down, they said, oh, yeah, girl, he a player. I said, well, I ain't seen nothing. Until I see it, I'm not going to say that that's what that person is doing. I'm a person, don't tell me nothing about let me find out on my own. And sometimes that could be painful, but don't, let me see for myself. Because what they did to you, they may not do it to me. Okay? How they handled you, they may not handle me that way. So I'm that type of person. You can't come to me and tell me something about somebody else. And I'm going to go off of that. Okay? So I use it as illustration because a lot of y'all do that. A lot of y'all married women, single women that's with somebody. The minute they tell y'all, I saw your man over there at the store. You looking crazy when he get home. Was you at the store? Yeah, I was at the store buying something. So also said they saw you with somebody. That's can I say that's retarded? Because first of all, if you didn't see it with your own eyes, that could have been somebody in his family, and that could have been anybody that he know. That could have been anybody. But you're saying, and I remember yesterday, Pastor LaWan, she'll mind me telling that because she was preaching yesterday. She was talking about that, how people will accuse you of things and they don't even know. That's why it's good to know people for yourself. Everybody got their own opinion about you. But the final decision or the final note is, what do you think about you? It's places that I may not ever see, but it's a lot of places that I have seen. But the whole fact of the matter is, healing is what we say we're looking for and what we need. And we say we want to be able to help somebody else. But in order to help somebody else, you need to be honest with them and tell them about your crushing. So even if they decide they don't even care, they still going to do their thing. It's imperative that before you tell them about all the blessings and how God did in your marriage and God, kissy face out on there, tell them. One thing I like about I call her Joseph. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all her name. One thing I love about her and her husband, they'll get on here and they'll tell you stuff they've been through. I'm talking about some stuff. And then they'll tell you where they are now. Okay. I don't like to be around people. The only thing you seeing is that they kissing. And they cheering what they want. They don't want you to see the bad side. They just want you to see the good side. That's okay, but what about for those that are struggling? Because you may tell somebody to stay into a relationship because you're not being honest about it. We're talking about everything. We're talking about healing, okay? You may tell somebody to stay in a relationship because you stayed in a relationship, but you're not going to tell them that you was abused. You're not going to tell them that you was choked and slapped. You're not going to tell them that. You will tell them to stay with it because some people, believe it or not, some people love dysfunction. And they'll train you to stay in it. I wasn't doing that with my spiritual sons or daughters or my natural children. If somebody is abusing you, get out. I don't care if you're married to them. Get out. Abuse is abuse. And let the chips fall where they lay. Okay? But you got people that'll tell you about their blessings, but they'll never tell you how they got there. They'll never tell you the struggles that they went through. And you will look at them. It's just like people holler, y'all look at these soap operas. I ain't never liked soap operas. Oh, I couldn't stand soap operas, okay? But you had women that love soap operas. They would watch soap operas and mimic those soap operas. Or they would watch the movie Cinderella. Or they would watch different movies that and we as women, we're that way. We're very emotional, period, okay, to a certain degree. But you will mimic yourself off of somebody else is saying that they this, that, and the other when you don't know the whole thing that you don't know what they've been through to get to where they are. And they still could be going through some stuff. You just don't know it. But they're showing you that good side. So you thinking that relationships, friendships, people in ministry, that everybody is not going to go through anything. You're going to have people that work next to you that you're going to go through things with. Friends too. You're going to go through something with. Now, I ain't talking about crazy stuff that'll get you killed. I ain't talking about that. But I'm talking about mistakes. People make mistakes and you got to leave room enough for that. Because you make mistakes. You make a mistake when you think wrong about somebody and you don't have no evidence. You can't even go to court without evidence. So if y'all see me looking like this, I'm not cross-eyed or cockeyed. None of y'all already know that. I got YouTube over here and I got Facebook over here. But you got people that's basing their life on what somebody else is doing. Even though I love my bishop, I don't base my life off of what bishop life is. Because I don't want to go through what he went through. I went through a lot. When he was talking about repossession, I went through that too. I went through repossession, and it wasn't because I mishandled money. It was because of the person that I trusted. Okay? But I've had stuff that was, taken from me and went through a lot of stuff. Yes. And I share that with people because I don't want them to think, you know what? This girl, she coming up and she got this and she got that. And no, but you're going to know how I got there. So moving forward, I'm going to read something to you that I always share with y'all what I write down because I want you to really get it. I love to take time with people because I know it was a time when nobody took the time for Rhonda. And you got people, they will judge you because of what you look like now or what you're going through now. They don't know all the fights. They don't know all the struggles. They don't know. They just looking down on the outside looking in. Some people don't even have no type of discernment. And they talk about discernment, but they have no discernment at all. And sometimes, did y'all see the movie Color Purple? When Mr. was lighting the stove and Celie was in the rocking chair in the kitchen and she knew he was lighting that stove wrong. And she was just rocking in the chair watching him. And sometimes that's how I do with some people that think they got it all together. I just be sitting there watching like, Then after a while, you see her chair was empty because she knew he was going to blow something up. And that's how sometimes you have to do with people when they think they know it all. You can't tell them anything because of the degrees or because they think they've been in ministry longer than you. Well, God, just because you went to school to learn what you learned, and nothing wrong with that. A lot of my stuff I got firsthand, and a lot of people that God deal with them firsthand. Oh yeah, I've been to certain schools for ministry. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that's not what qualifies you. No, that's not what qualifies you. Because you got a lot of people that have degrees and can't even get a job. Spiritual and natural, we're talking about. You got people that got degrees, they doctors, they apostles, and they don't even have a ministry. They just hopping. And what they do, they will talk you into trying to open a door for them. You got a lot of people that's like that. But when you are a person that God have been pouring into you because you laid out and you waited patiently for God to restore and replenish you and pour into your life, that's the best teacher. And the Bible says some of them was unlearned. So for some of you leaders, you don't have to explain to people that you didn't go to school or you didn't, or it doesn't matter. If they judging you for that, they missing it anyway. Because you might be the very one to come in there and heal a whole line of help. God will use you to heal a whole line of people in their ministry. They'll miss it because they're going off of different accolades and, different schools. It have nothing to do with it. Whom God chooses, he also qualifies. Okay? I want to give you some things that I wrote down, removing demonic influences. Um, it's a lot, so I don't know if you want to write it down or come back and listen to it, but I wrote some things down about removing demonic influences. And I always tell y'all this, I don't never really talk about things that I've never seen for myself or been around or experienced it myself. So I wrote down some things about removing demonic influences. Okay. Um, First of all, you need to know that you have an angel that is warring on your behalf. Some of you have been dealing with some unknown, unseen. You've been even in unfamiliar territories. You've been dealing with a whole lot of things, and you saying to yourself, like, man, every time I think I'm doing this, this is happening. I keep getting hit, and this coming this way, and I'm fixing this, that tear up. I fix that, that tear up. Mm-mm. I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of demonic influences. I talked about this also yesterday, okay? Um, but we're going to denounce it. Anything that's going on in your life, you can denounce it because it's happening to you, okay? Different things that I wrote down. Sinful behaviors of criticism, okay? This is removing demonic influence. Impatience. If I name any of that and you know it's you, you need to write it down. Anything that's pertaining to you, you need to write it down and you need to denounce it. Okay? Again, you do have angels that's working on your behalf. Okay? But you got demonic influences that is contributing to your sicknesses and your illnesses. You got demonic influences that is literally contributing to what you already dealing with. Okay? Sinful behaviors of criticism, impatience, resentment, pride, rebellion, stubbornness, unforgiveness. Woo! Unforgiveness will cause you to be sick. You have a lot of people that have stomach issues. They never dealt with. I'm telling you from me. Um, in 2006, I started dealing with a lot of stomach issues and couldn't digest my food because I was stressing big time. I'm talking about those of you that got the book 15 Years of Leading While Bleeding. Baby, I had people talking about you had no business. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I was. 15 years of leading while bleeding. Uh-huh. I was going through a lot, a whole lot. But you know what I was doing? Just so I could, it's almost like in being in the military. You may have gotten wounded. You pat yourself up and you still help pull somebody else out. See, a person in the military, when they get shot, they don't get shot and stop just because they're bleeding. They don't stop. And I'm a warrior, okay? I didn't get wounded and stop. I patched my wound up and I helped somebody else that was wounded, okay? And I didn't come out of a bitter place. I patched it up and I helped pull somebody else out. Unforgiveness. That was my thing. I was dealing with so much of that. I was dealing with so much of being betrayed and hurt, all that crazy stuff, until it started messing with my digestive system. I couldn't digest my food. I was having headaches, migraines from just come out of nowhere. All that was from unforgiveness and hurt. And hurt, the pain was in my house and outside of my house. Okay? And I dealt with it the best way I knew how. Some people medicate stuff through eating, taking medications. Okay? I had gotten up to 298 pounds just from stress eating. Yeah, it happens. My food was not digesting like it was supposed to. I was having all type of stomach issues. I was drinking all kind of teas. That didn't help. It wasn't until I started with a made up mind that I wasn't going to allow things. I wasn't going to even allow myself to get in the way of where God was trying to take me. Okay? Gossip, disobedience, anger, manipulation, jealousy, greed, laziness. I talked about that too. Laziness. A lot of y'all are lazy. That's the reason why a lot of y'all don't attend certain functions. You eat and go home. You don't want to get back out no more. Okay. Manipulation, jealousy, greed, laziness, revenge, coveting, possessiveness, control, retaliation, selfishness, deceitfulness, deception, dishonesty, unbelief, seduction, lust, pornography, masturbation, idolatry, and witchcraft. Believe it or not, you got a lot of Christian people still dealing with some of this stuff. Okay. Spiritual infirmities, nerve disorders. When you see people shaking their legs, biting their nails, or just doing little stuff, that's a nerve disorder. Okay. Brain disorder, dysfunction, depression, fatigue, addiction, gluttony. Talked about that a few minutes ago. Okay. Alcoholism, sexual addictions, sexual perversion, incest, adultery, confusion, procrastination, self-hatred, isolation, nervousness, indecision, doubt, oppression, rejection, poor self-image, anxiety, shame, and fear. Fear was another one of mine that I used to deal with. That used to be one of my things, fear. Fear is very crippling. I told you all also yesterday that I was in fear of letting some things and people go that I knew that wasn't good for me. God is still doing some cutting. But for the most part, when the ones that he spoke out that I had to let go of, I had to let go. Was it painful? Of course it was. Because sometimes you think you need things in people and you really don't. Because they letting you know they don't need you and they don't want what you have. And you got to be okay with that. Okay? Now, the Holy Spirit's gifts, this is a gift from the Holy Spirit for you. Peace, patience, love, joy, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, humility. Stop right there. A lot of people don't have that. Humility. Generosity, kindness. They talk it. A lot of times, people wrestle with having generosity or being kind to someone. They're only kind to people that's in their little circle. Okay? But to everybody else, they're not. Goodness, fortitude, discipline, truth, self-image, prosperity, charity, obedience, a sound mind. These are the things that God have for you. Okay? Freedom of having control. Freedom from control. You know, some people have a controlling spirit. Okay? Wholeness, wellness, health, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. The light of the Lord, Christ, is the center of your life. No matter what people say, stop allowing people to put jackets on you. Stop allowing people to say, oh yeah, you know, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. No, you start denouncing that thing. I don't care what it is. You got people from years ago in your family, in ministry, your friends, your frenemies. You got people that have spoken curses on you years ago that you need to go back and denounce. And people don't realize that. Sometimes when a parent tell their child, you ain't gonna never be nothing. You just like your mama or your daddy. You just that's one thing I couldn't stand to hear a man or a woman say, oh, you just like your daddy. You get on my nerves. Go sit down. That is a hateful thing to say to your child. That's a hateful thing to say to your child. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care what that person took you through. You should never say that to your child. Because they have some of you too, some of your DNA too. Okay? So I wanted to share that with you all. And it's something else I wanted to share, but my time is about up. Okay? I want to talk about healing those from evil spirits and infirmities. We'll talk about that another time. But you shall and you will be delivered. I can tell you that. The reason why I can tell you that, because God healed me and he delivered me. And he put his words in my mouth. And God knew he could trust me. He knew he could trust me with having favor. He knew he could trust me with the anointing. He knew. See, God got to know that he can trust you with certain things. You know, because some of y'all just doing things just to do it because you feel like you qualified for it. And God said, no, because God is raising up his remnant. You've been hearing that a lot because the time is near. He's raising up his people that's going to sound the alarm, that's going to give truth, that's going to bring healing, that's going to bring restoration, that's going to bring deliverance to you right where you are. Even so now, you know, you got a lot of people on here that's going to come on here later that's been battling, and they leaders, and they've been battling with all type of anxiety. The least little thing, they holler, my anxiety. Stop saying that that's your anxiety. Stop saying that's your depression, that's your high blood pressure, that's your diabetes. That's not yours. When evening had come, they brought to him many who were demon possessed, and he cast out spirits with the word and healed all acts of sicknesses. All who were sick, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, he himself took our infirmities and bore our sickness. Matthew 8:16 through 17. See, the enemy wants to keep influencing you with things of old. Okay? It's a beautiful thing to share with people of where God delivered you from and help them. And even if they don't pay any attention, because you do know, just like in the world, you have a lot of people that are scammers, that are manipulators, and they make you think that they really want something they really don't. You got people that are holding on to you and they don't care nothing about you, and you know it. It's just like me and a young lady was talking. I said, don't you know, I know everybody that's around me. I know their spirit. I know their spirit. I know some of them, they just hanging on for whatever reason. They really don't care for me, and I know that, and it's okay, and I still love them back to God. But at some point, God is supposed to take them and just cut and start cutting, because he already know. He see what you don't see, but he don't want you to worry about what you don't see, because the secret things belong to him, and he's going to take care of those things. You can have people that's working right beside you in ministry. They could be working right beside you, and at the same time, while you filling up the holes, they drilling holes. You can have people that's with you on your job, and you call that, oh, that's my buddy, we hanging out. And while you thinking that you hanging out and talking and telling all your business, guess what? They using that against you. Because your discernment needs to come up a little. I tell people all the time, just because I don't say nothing don't mean I don't see and know. Just because I don't say nothing. I was like that in the world. I would know certain things, but I would let people hang themselves. But back then, I used to do something about it. Now I give them to the Lord. I don't fuss about. I don't trip about it. I'm saying okay. I keep saying okay long enough. When I say okay that final time, that's it. It ain't no coming back. Ain't no. It's none of that. But your healing is about you. Your healing is not about your sister, it's not about your brother, it's not about your man, your woman. It's about you. God is after you. He wants you to give your life totally to him. He wants you to stop playing church. He wants you to stop playing church and be the church. He wants you to stop being so judgmental, because you get on these timelines and what you do, you try to find somebody that you could just sit up and just talk about when you're not doing nothing with your own life. And if somebody, I told you this before, when somebody's trying to help you and you do something to hurt them, and they decide, I'm done because I tried to help you. That's the reason why nobody won't stay and be there for you, because you've been messing up your own friendships with people. Have you ever seen people like that? You can present them something good, and in the process of presenting them something good, you thinking that they really for you till that maybe the first two visits, or maybe the first one you might clock it the first time. God ain't gonna let you see everything, because some things you're gonna have to grow off of. But sometimes you sit back like, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. You be just, if like me, I'll sit back, I'll be laughing and just watching you at the same time, like, yeah, you done did this to a lot of people. That's why you don't have too many people around you. You keep blaming everybody else, but you're the reason. You're the reason. Now, you do have people that's going to try to attach themselves to you because of what they think that you may have. And I'm glad that people think, man, Pastor Taylor got it going on, man. She buying all these tents for everybody. And then every time I tell her, somebody told me she gave them this and she gave them that. That don't mean I didn't even see the people that I gave it to. It don't even mean that. It means that God put it in my heart to do it, and I did it. I didn't do it to like I used to, just buying people doing it. No, I didn't do that. I did it because I was led to do it. Okay? So in my closing, you know what you need from God. You've been talking about the same thing. And God told me to tell you, stop claiming sickness. A lot of y'all claim sickness before you claim healing. Stop claiming sickness. Stop always hollering about my headache and my depression, my anxiety. What? What about my healing? Oh, God, thank you for my healing. The minute the pain hits your head, oh, God, thank you for my healing. Anywhere, God, thank you for my healing. Lord, thank you that I didn't go down that street. Oh, I started to go that direction. God, thank you, I didn't go in that direction. I started to drive that way, but God, you told me to go the other direction. God, thank you. Don't start complaining when they say give a testimony. You like, oh yeah, the devil almost had me. No. Let me tell you something. God redirected my steps. God turned some things around for me. God didn't allow, the enemy came one way and God came another way. You hear what I'm saying? It was a time where see how God dealt with me is I would tell people, man, it's cold-blooded, because sniper in the spirit. See, where when people are on the ground hunting and looking for you in the spirit realm, I'm up in the tree. I'm up on the building like a sniper, and I see you. I might not ever tell you I see you, because snipers don't never say, hey, up here. They just clock you, baby. So you got to learn how to be quiet and let God fight your battles for real. You got to learn how to be quiet and let God speak for you for real. He's the perfect judge, baby. You don't need a lawyer when you got God. You don't need to brag on your sickness. You need to brag on your health. Oh, I'm in perfect health. Oh, thank God. I'm healed. Thank God for my businesses. God, thank God for my children, that they're not wilding out. I tell people all the time, I thank God for people can pray, do it. Baby, you can throw all kind of dust, chicken legs, chicken wings. You better go eat that stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be hungry. You're going to need that, okay? I always tell people, anybody that's trying to track or trace me in the realm of the spirit, you see what happened to that thief that was on the other side of Jesus? When he started talking foolish, what happened? He got them eyes plucked out. So anybody tracking or tracing me in the realm of the spirit as a witch, your eyes going to be plucked out your head, baby. You ain't going to be able to feel your way, okay? So I love it. And people don't understand, when you've been introduced to that type of stuff since I've seen that stuff since I was a little bitty girl. Stuff like that don't put fear in my heart. So you holler, when I tell you, if I clocked a witch or I clocked a warlock or I clocked this or clocked that, you better believe I ain't gonna call out nothing that I ain't gonna deal with. You don't fear no sickness. You don't fear witches. You don't fear none of that. What you do, you take it head on, but don't talk big if you ain't going to do anything. And don't call nothing out that you ain't going to be ready to deal with. If you call a spirit out, you better be ready to deal with that spirit, especially if it's in your ministry. If you start calling out a certain spirit, that spirit start humping in his back and start crawling in the floor, then you get your bag and the rest of your kids and you out because you done called the spirit out that you ain't ready to deal with. This is going to help some of you. This is going to help you, okay? You're going to have to train people. Even if you haven't been to school yourself, but you know your word and you know how to study and dissect your word enough to train people, you're going to have to train people, because what you're doing is when you just throw a mic in their hand and you let them go, whatever they're dealing with is going to grow in the audience if somebody else is dealing with it. So what you want to do, if you're a person that you know that you operate in the spirit of deliverance and you can teach and you can discern, you might want to kind of sit down and teach for a minute and start training up some people, getting them ready, because you never take nobody to war that don't know nothing about battle. You take somebody to war with you and you say, come on, we finna go out and fight, and then come and find out they talked a lot, but when it's time to go out and really fight, you be like, what happened to so and so? She said she wasn't coming. He said he wasn't coming, baby. You found out that they were scary. Okay? They're doing all that talking. You better take you some people with you that can really fight. And I ain't talking about with these. Well, sometimes with these. But I ain't talking about with these. I'm talking about in the spirit. You better get you some spiritual snipers in the spirit that can really pray and that can catch you in the spirit. Just like that, I was talking about, you want a man that can catch you in the spirit, you want a woman that can catch you in the spirit. No, you need to be around some people that can catch you in the spirit, that when they see that you're not doing certain things, and I thank God for the few people that God blessed to inbox me every now and then and say, hey, so you all right? I ain't heard from you. I ain't seen you on TikTok. I ain't seen you on Instagram. I ain't seen you on Facebook. I ain't seen you on YouTube. What's wrong? So now sometimes God had me in a quiet place, but the times that they reached out to me, I was dealing with some stuff. So you need those type of people that can see in the spirit and they're not in their own little spirit. Okay? If you're going to go out and you're going to claim some territory, don't you take nobody out there that don't believe. They in their mind doubting. See in your face, they'll tell you, oh, I believe in you. I got you in this. And behind your back, they doing something different. They don't care nothing about you. Those people are dangerous to carry along. Because while you doing one thing, they being sneaky doing something else. That's dangerous. Or they tell you, I'm so proud of you. You doing good. I got you. And while you holding them and embracing them, they got a knife in your back. You got to be in the spirit all the way. If you're going to be in the spirit, you got to be there all the way. Because just like you got snakes in the world, baby, you got more snakes in the church. Some people don't want nothing to do but to come in and wreak havoc in the place where God blessed you with. They'll come in and tear up everything. Run people off. And they'll go on to the next and do the same thing. Because they was on an assignment. But if you got some people that can really see in the spirit, and they ain't trying to get no title, they ain't trying to get no recognition, they ain't trying to pass out no business cards, they ain't coming in your midst doing all that crazy stuff. When you got some people that's really for you, they're going to be for you. Okay? I always tell folks, you either with me or you against me. You either love me or you don't. Because guess what? I'm a person, even if I don't care, because I don't dislike anybody. Even if I don't care about your ways, because your ways is what I may not like. I don't dislike anybody. I love everybody. I'm just being honest. I do. Even the ones that done wrong to me, I still love them. I'm not going to mistreat them. Okay? But my thing is this. When you have people that's going to battle with you, you can't take scary people with you. You can't even have a scary person watching out. Because the minute they see something that looks crazy, they gone. And you look back at the gate, you don't even see them. You're like, oh yeah, I got a soldier on the gate. they watching out. No, they're not. They gone, baby. You didn't see that dust in the air. You didn't see all that dust, baby. They up out of there. Beep, beep, beep. They up out. Scared. You better know in this season, you can't take gossipy people with you. You can't take no backbiters with you. that's looking for other positions other than being there and being the person they are supposed to be with you, don't take them with you in this season. It's dangerous. Maya Angelou said it well. When a person show you who they are, believe them. Don't believe what they say. You believe what you saw. A pair of lips, my mom said it well. A pair of lips to say anything, babe. Love is action. Love ain't what you tell me. You can tell me all day long, I love you. No, show me. Show me. And the same way God is saying, you saying you love me, show me. And stop listening to people telling you, yeah, you got some people, I granted, you got some people, they look at their leaders as a God. But you're supposed to honor your leader. And don't let nobody change your mind about you honoring your leader. If you that weak to be persuaded to do something different because somebody spoke one word to you, you don't need to be up under your leader. Because our leaders don't care nothing about no prestige. Our leaders ain't want you to carry their bags and wash their face and change their clothes for them. They can do that themselves. You got some leaders, they just need you to be there to be a watchman like you say you are. Especially some of y'all that have you an armor bearer, but you over there armor bearing somebody else. You don't know how to cover your leader. You over there covering somebody else's leader. Your leader up there praying, and you instead of you over there praying for her while she praying for him, you over there praying for somebody else. You got to know your place. That don't mean that you treating your leader like a God. That means you know your place. You cannot. That's why I love Bishop. Baby, a lot of people ain't up under Bishop because the order, okay? You're not going to just go up in the potter's house and do what you want to do and say what you want to say. That's not going to happen. First of all, you ain't getting no mic until you show him that. First of all, he got to know you ain't been there long enough to be getting no mic. You might get up there and mess up the whole church. Why would I pull you off the streets and let you preach? I don't know what you're going to say. No. We're doing it and everything, and we labeling it God. And I had to go there because we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing it. I tell people, if somebody can come and change your mind about me, you never was for me in the beginning. And you need to say that and stop worrying about people that's no longer with you or around you, even your friends, even some of your family members. You got family members. They can go and gossip and they'll tell this person one thing and then they go over here and tell another one. They want to believe that anyway about you. They didn't hear you say it. They want to believe that. Sometimes people want to believe certain things about you because maybe they already have a jealous spirit towards you, or maybe they already feel it some kind of way. So the least little thing somebody say, it's easy for them to pull away. It should never be. You could never change my mind about anybody that I say I love. You couldn't do that to me. It's no way. You can't tell me that. I don't care people how, you think Bishop is a God. No, I honor my leader. I honor my leader. I respect my leader. I know not to disrespect him. I know not to do things to break his heart. I know how to not to listen to somebody telling me something, and I know what this man been training me all my life that's been helping me. Because see, you may be with me for a moment, but then after a while, you gone. You ain't got no patience. This person is still with me. While I'm listening to you, this person is still here. It's still training and equipping me. So you got to be careful. People walk up in your house, girl, I wouldn't take that. You ain't, I had one lady ask me, say, some people telling me that, and I'm not going to call them names. Some people telling me this my husband, but some saying that's not my husband. And then but you told me that, to wait on God and let God do what he's going to do. Because just because God is saying you're not ready now, don't mean you're not going to be ready later. But you get offended because you're not. And so I simply said these words. God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Whatever your will is, I'm not going to tell anybody, oh, that's your husband or that's your wife. And then you mess around and you get with somebody that'll blow your brains out. I'm not going to be in the midst of that. I'm not going to be in the midst of it. You get with somebody that can't stay with one man, can't stay with one woman, or they all in every man's face. They don't know how to be a lady. They're very wild acting. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not for me. I'm not even a marriage counselor. I wouldn't even try to. I'm not gonna counsel nobody's relationship. I did that years ago, and it came back to haunt me. I'm not doing that because I'm not a counselor. No, I don't care how long I've been married. I'm still not going. Because what worked for me may not work for you, and we got to be careful of that. I tell you what I've been through, but what I've been through, you might can survive through it. You might can survive through it and say, you know what, girl, I'll take some ass more years of that. I might say, I ain't gonna be able to do it. So my thing is going back to the point where that's where all the deliverance and freedom come in at, is when you can be true with you. Stop listening to what everybody else is telling you what you should and what you shouldn't do. You know, if you're going to your leader for advice, go to your leader for advice and leave it at that. But don't be a person where you just being messy and that's you just want to talk and you want to say, well, I want to talk to you about something, and don't tell nobody I said it. It's between me, you, and God. No, it's really not, because when you get through with me, you're gonna go to somebody else and do the same thing. It's not between me, you, and God. It's not. So don't do that, because you the same thing that you doing with me, you're doing to them, because you talked about them. If you talked about them, you talked about me, and you didn't know me that long. So you got to be careful with that. Okay. In my closing, I want you to know that God loves you. Okay. God have some things that's in store for you that you haven't even seen, you haven't even touched yet. And yes, a lot of things are going on around us, in front of us, on the side of us. A lot of things are going on. But let me tell you this. God loves you. He cares about where you are. He cares about where you're going. And he wants you to stay focused. He wants you to keep your eyes on him. He wants you to keep your mind stead on him. He wants you to stay in your word. He wants you to pray more. He wants you to fast more. And some things that we go through, the deliverance and healing comes through by much prayer and much fasting. Some things you don't even need to fast for, because some things you already know to do and you just haven't done it. And stop blaming everybody else for things that you're doing. We're quick to tell people what they need. But what do we need? What do we need? Have respect for each other. Operate with humility and integrity. It'll take you a long way. It'll take you places where your money can't take you. Love is key to me. Humility is key to me. Oh, integrity is a big thing for me. You know, I always tell people, if I expose you, it's because it was time. Okay? Because I will never. If you come to me and you tell me something personal about you, nobody's not going to know it. It's between me. That's between me, you, and God. Now, what you do, on the other hand, when somebody do you that way, then that's, you may not be like that. You might not operate like that. But for as myself, if you come in and say, hey, I'm going through this. If you wanted somebody else to know, you would have told them. So operate with integrity. Operate in humility. And don't be a person where you spread and gossip, but you get mad when it's found out. You get mad when it comes back on you because you didn't expect for it to come out. You thought that was going to stay hidden, but it came out. God said, if you want to be healed, it starts from here. Okay? I love you all. I appreciate you more than you could ever imagine. I appreciate you, because you could have been somewhere else, listening to somebody else, putting your attention to something else. I appreciate it. I don't take people for granted. That's not my spirit. I love people, even if they don't love me. I love my enemies, believe it or not. I do. I love my enemies. And Bishop said again very well, okay? He said, your enemies is what kept you on your knees. They even gave you strategies on how to pray. And can I tell you, I've never learned so many strategic prayers until I started finding out and God revealing to me who my enemies were. And baby, I'm telling you, some people say, you must have been around some Nigerians or some Africans. Yeah, I have, but still, I'm telling you, because they go all in. They don't play. They don't play. So, yes, I have. But at the same time, God gave me some things, too, to pray, because he see what you don't see. He know what you don't know. Okay? God bless you. I love you all. I appreciate you for tuning in. And I'm just thankful to God. God is doing some new things in this girl's life. It's amazing. I'm thankful. I love me some God. Anybody that know Rhonda know, baby, that ain't no, baby. Anybody that been to my house or visited me, they know. No, that's not. She ain't playing. This is an everyday thing for her. She's not just doing lives and talking about God and then she doing something else. No, baby, Rhonda love her some God, and that's your main man right there. Love you some God for real. You will know how to treat people. You'll stop just ragging and talking about everybody and hurting everybody and walking over them and thinking that it's nothing. Then you have the audacity to tell them, get over it. Okay. God bless you. I love you all. Until next time. I don't know. I don't know they're gonna pause my. I know they paused my music, so I'm gonna drink from the well that won't run dry. I'm gonna turn it down because they'll mute me. But anyway, love you all. God bless you all. Until next time, this is your girl, Rhonda Taylor from the Lion Tribe of Judah Global Tent Ministries, where there is life, love, joy, peace, and for those of you that listen to me on my podcast, harmony. Till next time, love you all. God bless you. And to my YouTubers too. I was trying to look in both places. Be encouraged. Know that God loves you. And guess what? Your girl is praying for you. I don't have to see you or know you to pray for you. I pray for everybody that come on here and look, and that may God prosper you and may you be at great health, even as your soul prosper. I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Share this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Yes. And go to Amazon and order those books. Yes. I have The Victim Survived, from Victim to Victorious in God, Coming Out of the Grave Clothes, 15 Years of Leading While Bleeding, and The Game Changer. Yes, all 5 is on Amazon. Go back and hit repeat and go back and listen to this message. I love you all. Until next time, God bless you. Mwah. From the tribe of Judah, we love you.